How USC and Ohio State match up for Friday's Cotton Bowl. 8 USC, 11-2, versus 5 Ohio State, 11-2. Friday, 5:30 p.m., AT&T Stadium, Arlington, Texas. TV, ESPN, ESPN Deportes. Radio, ESPN Radio, 690. USC's offensive line versus Ohio State's defensive line. The quarterbacks and running backs have gotten much of the attention leading up to Friday's Cotton Bowl, and both teams have explosive tandems. But the game will be won in the trenches. Ohio State is giving up just 292 yards a game, 8th lowest in the country. If the Buckeyes' deep defensive line there is a rotation of 10, and 11 players have recorded tackles for a loss can pressure USC quarterback Sam Darnold and contain tailback Ronald Jones too, it could be a long day for the Trojans. Ohio State is the only program in the nation in the top 10 in total offense and total defense. USC, 489.5 VG/34.5 ppg. Darnold had the kind of year a prospective number 1 pick in the NFL draft should have, passing for 3,787 yards and 26 touchdowns. But tailback Jones may be the key to the Trojans' offense, having run for 814 yards and 10 touchdowns in the last 5 games, all wins. A sprinter in high school, Jones' speed is of concern to Ohio State's defense. Ohio State, 523.6 VG/42.5 ppg. J.T. Barrett, who will be playing his 50th game for the Buckeyes, is a dual-threat quarterback who passed for 2,939 yards and 35 touchdowns and ran for 732 yards. Is also a smart signal caller who isn't afraid to make changes if he sees something in the defense that can be exploited. Freshman running back J.K. Dobbins averaged 7.5 yards a carry this season. Ohio State's 2 losses came in games in which he was held to less than 73 yards rushing. Ohio State is the only school in the nation with more than 3,000 yards passing and 3,000 yards rushing. USC, 404.8 VG/26.3 ppg. USC allowed at least 23 points 9 times in 13 games and hasn't given up fewer than 3 touchdowns since October. The Trojans do lead the nation with 43 sacks, but if they get after Barrett too aggressively he becomes dangerous as a runner. That will place a lot of pressure on outside linebacker Ruckman Osu, USC's key contain man. The Trojans are opportunistic on defense, having intercepted 16 passes, returning 3 for touchdowns and recovered 8 fumbles. Ohio State, 292.3 VG/19.9 ppg, led by sophomore Nick Bosa and redshirt junior Sam Hubbard, who have combined for 24.5 tackles behind the line of scrimmage. Ohio State's defense has racked up 100 tackles for losses. The Buckeyes have held 9 of their 13 opponents to less than 300 years of total offense and limited 3 to a touchdown or less. The pressure is important since Ohio State lost 4 defensive backs in the first round of the NFL draft the last 2 seasons, leaving 3 underclassmen starting in the secondary. They are backed up by 3 freshmen. Freshman walk-on Chase McGraw missed the first field goal attempt of his USC career but was 12 for 15 after that, including game-tying and game-winning kicks against Texas and 2 others of more than 45 yards. Punter Reed Budrovich, also a walk-on, averaged 42.5 yards and 49 punts, pinning opponents inside their 20 nearly 40 of the time. The Trojans have returned 2 punts for touchdowns. Sean Neurenberger, Ohio State's junior kicker, missed just 4 of 20 field goal tries but made only 1 of more than 38 yards. He is perfect on 174.68 this season point after kicks in 4 seasons. Buckeyes punter Drew Chrisman averaged 44 yards a kick. Ohio State has not returned a kick for a touchdown this season. USC has won its last 7 games with Ohio State dating to the 1974 Rose Bowl. 3 of those games have been decided by 3 points or less. The teams have met in September, October and January, never in December. And the last time USC played in AT&T Stadium in last season's opener they were routed by Alabama 52-6, the Trojans' most one-sided loss in 5 decades. The last time Ohio State played there, in 2015, it won a national championship. Ohio State has 2 Southern Californians on its roster, including 5th-year senior tight end Marcus Ball from Riverside, who has at least 1 catch in all 13 games this season. USC has no players from Ohio but has 5 Texans, including Jones. Ohio State has 7 Texans, including Barrett, Wichita Falls, and Dobbins, LaGrange, Kevine, Baxter at Latums.com. Ohio State Game Day Plus, Buckeyes treating bowl as their playoff game. Dallas. The Ohio State Buckeyes play at AT&T Stadium for the first time since winning the inaugural college football playoff 3 years ago. The last remaining players from that 2014 team that beat Oregon and Jerry Jones' Dallas Cowboys Palace will finish their illustrious college careers Friday night against Southern California in the Cotton Bowl. It is an intriguing game of conference champions, a matchup featuring explosive offenses and future NFL talent galore, and yet, it still feels a bit anticlimactic. That's mostly because of the playoff or bust mentality that exists now. It also serves as a testament to the heights Ohio State has reached and maintained under Urban Meyer. If the Buckeyes lose, they'll have lost 3 games in a season for the first time in Meyer's 6 years as coach. I think at Ohio State it's very interesting what we see as success. Senior quarterback JT at other places when you go 11-3, it's a really good year. At Ohio State, it's not. Our expectations are really high. I remember when I first came in, it was very clear that at Ohio State you must win every game you play. It's very hard to do that. It is, and now in the playoff era, success at Ohio State is often measured by whether the Buckeyes make the playoff. USC was devastated by its exclusion from the playoff this year despite winning the Big Ten. The Buckeyes are trying not to let that define their season. A victory over USC would be an immense boost. It's very important, Meyer said. It would be the 12th win. With a victory, it's going to be certainly a top 5, top 4, top 3 team, a great team and a great season. Beating Southern California would certainly be a worthy cap to the season. Since beating the Trojans in the 1974 Rose Bowl, the Buckeyes have lost 7 straight games to USC. I didn't know that, senior defensive end Jalen Holmes said. We're going to have to change that. Like Ohio State, the Trojans are a 2-loss team that had hoped for a playoff spot after winning the Pac-12 title. USC features a quarterback, Sam Darnold, who will go near the top of the NFL draft if he chooses to forego his final 2 years of eligibility. Surrounding him is a talented group of receivers led by Deontay Burnett and a run game highlighted by Ronald Jones too. On defense, the Trojans have plenty of pro-caliber players, even if the performance has been spotty at times. "We're going to treat it as a playoff game," Jones said. "Make a statement, just let us in next time. But it's definitely a big game." For Barrett and center Billy Price, who are the only remaining starters from the 2014 team, this will be a final chance to cement their legacy. Many players from their 2013 recruiting class are already in the NFL. Several were considered can't-miss players, but plenty were unheralded and developed into integral players and leaders. Meyer mentioned Barrett, linebacker Chris Worley and defensive end Taquan Lewis as examples. "Those guys are all under-the-radar guys that ended up being as good a players and as good a leaders as I've ever had," Meyer said. "Those seniors, as well as the ones from the 2014 class, have compiled a resume as impressive as almost any in Ohio State history. But their work is not done. Right now, we're 11-2 and it's go win the Cotton Bowl," Barrett said of the Buckeyes' mindset. "Talking about whether it's a successful season or not, I'm not the one to do that. I'm pretty sure some of you all will make the determination if we've had a successful season or not. I'm just focused on winning the Cotton Bowl and getting prepared to do that. It might not be the playoff, but it is the next best thing. It's two historic programs, great football players on each team," Holmes said. "It's going to be a hell of a game." Brobinowitz at Dispatch.com.